Shall we start, Kirtana?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Yeah. Good evening, Dr. Ravi Samuel. Good evening, Dr. Venkatraman. Welcome to all my friends at MSSI and also Mrs. Shanmuganathan, Sundari Shanmuganathan. As you know, the month of May is a month dedicated to observing this, creating an awareness about multiple sclerosis. World MS Day is on the 30th of this month, which is Sunday. And so today we are having our get together. First of all, it's a pleasure to see all of you all present. So many of you all, 48, 49, and I hope more will be present. Secondly, it is a tribute to our caregivers, the people who keep our MS persons up and about. Normally, Chennai Chapter celebrates the month of October as a month for the caregiver, and we honor them. This year, World MSSI, Multiple Sclerosis International Federation, have chosen the theme as Care for the Caregivers, and hence today is dedicated to the caregivers without whom we would not be able to run the society. So I welcome you all to this evening's function. Feel free to ask Dr. Ravi Samuel, who is very well known to all of us, who's very familiar. He's virtually now like a part of us. And Dr. Venkatraman, welcome to you. You're new to our MSSI people, but Chitra has talked very highly about you, and we are glad to have you on our meeting this evening. And we look forward to a lot of give and take with you as regards our MS persons of concern. So I now hand over the mic to Chitra, who will be our moderator for this evening, and have a very good, enjoyable evening. Thank you. Chitra? Chitra? Chitra?
Yes. Good evening to one and all present here. A warm evening to one and all present here. I'm Chitra here representing Multiple Sclerosis Society, Chennai on the occasion of World MS Day 2021. As a part of this year's agenda, that is topic to all of us, conducting as part of his initiative, Break by profession, and has his Chennai. Dr. Ravi Samuel has completed his BSc, MSc, and MPhil in social work from Loyola College, Chennai. He has, to his credit, a course done in applied research methodology from UK and doctorate in medical and psychiatric social work, Madras University, in UK among people with emotional, behavioral, and psychiatric problems. He has got training in cognitive behavior therapy at Department of Clinical Neurology at National Hospital for Neurology, Ireland. He has conducted various workshops to manage the mental health of elderly, stress management, national and international levels. Dr. Ravi Samuel's valuable thoughts on this topic, care for caregivers. Thank you, sir. Mic is yours.
Doctor, you need to unmute your mic, doctor. We're not able to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the lovely introduction. The focus of today's program is carers. Taking care of someone with MS is a bit challenging, particularly if the patient is not very cooperative. We have a beautiful program called Brain Lab, which happens every Thursday, in which after the Brain Lab program, we have a socializing part where they all kind of motivate each other, inspire each other, advise each other, guide each other. It is such a beautiful interaction that we see of how they help each other in coping. Now, since I see lots of patients and carers here, I want the focus on the carers because they need care too. Because most of the time are spent on caring for patients. Very rarely they look into their own health, their own well-being. When someone is completely dedicated to care, they can have various physiological symptoms like loss of sleep, exhaustion, irritability. Many a times, even while the meeting is going on, we hear family members screaming, yelling because of exhaustion. They can have various body aches and pains. What do we do for this? The patients can take little responsibility for their activities and reduce the burden on the carer. Patients can help the carers, vice versa, as carers help the patients. The less dependent the patient on the carer, the better it is for the carer to function optimally for a longer period of time. It also does affect them emotionally. They can go through severe anger and frustration. Anne Gonsalves refers carers to me who are unable to cope in the initial stages. They are unable to accept the fact that their family member has got this debilitating illness. They just do not know what to do. They are desperately seeking for help. And there are people who falsely promise complete cure for 25 lakhs, 35 lakhs. In the event they don't have that money, they suffer from guilt. If I have the money, I will go for the treatment and completely cure my son, my wife, my husband, my child. But the fact is, there is no such treatment. Doctor who is going to speak after me is going to explain how such false claims are made when lots of research is being made for treatment of MS. It's not just by applying some oil all over the body, one can make the person completely all right. There can be a lot of grief about the diagnosis. There can be a lot of grief about the dysfunctional status of the person. We have people in our own group who were very functional, who used to help others set up business, now sitting at home. There is a loss, there is a grief that they have come to this. And this can affect the family members. There can be guilt of not doing enough. When the demands are increasing, the family members can feel the guilt of not having enough money, guilt of not getting the top treatment possible. They can also go through lots of frustrations because of financial difficulties. The earning member of the family is sitting at home. They are dependent on others, brothers, siblings, parents. So caregiving can be an emotionally draining experience given the circumstances. Now we saw what could go wrong. Let us see how we can cope with it. The first thing I feel carers need to do is accept, yes, I have this problem in my family member is affected by MS. So the acceptance is very important. Life is not about going in a car to a multi-story the shopping mall and having a jolly good time. Each one's life is different. They go through the purpose of life by doing what is called for them. Each one has a calling. Each one has a challenge. Some of our own MS patients who have severe disability cope so beautifully, inspire others. They do their best. That is what is expected. That is what is required to cope effectively. So the first thing is try to get help. I know many of you seek Anne's help, Kirtana's help. That is the first step. Taking help, acknowledging that we need help and taking that support. Keep a diary of your experiences. More often than not, you will find caregiving is a very fulfilling experience. I feel bad when I see titles as burden of caring, stress of caregiving. No, caregiving is not a stress at all. Caregiving is the most beautiful experience of caring for a person who is unable to do their activities. It can be very fulfilling, emotionally satisfying. At the end of the day, there is meaning to life. Just spend a day having a good time, going for a movie, going to the beach, as against sitting and doing something for somebody. You will feel more satisfaction on the day you did something for somebody. So it's a very fulfilling experience. It's a rewarding experience. It has a long-lasting experience both for the carer and the patient. Both of them will produce chemicals in the brain which will enhance their well-being. Take control of your work, your finances, your other interests, because sacrificing everything and taking care may lead to a burnout experience. So it's very important carers, as much as they take care, also do certain things that are important to them. Each family has a specific challenge. If you really think about it, big problems have simple solutions. If you only discuss with others about your problems, about those problems for which you are not unable to find a solution, other family members may be able to help you. Very important that you go for individual counseling in the event you are very irritable, very stressed, because it may have nothing to do with your caregiving. It may be to do with the way you're operating, the way you're overburdening yourself with lots of responsibilities, the way you're overdoing things, the way you're not spending time for yourself, the way you're not having time for your own recreation or your own entertainment. How do we cope effectively? Always share your thoughts, feelings, and needs to your friends. Have friends with whom you can mutually share. Talking is one thing that reduces a lot of our pressure, internal pressure. It may not solve the problems, but it enables us to take off the pressure, and that enables us to cope effectively. Lots of times we may have lots of negative thoughts, which we need to counter by not allowing them to influence our mood and our actions. So share with somebody all your negative thoughts. Take suggestions. If that does not solve, then discuss with few more people who are in similar circumstances. But please do not do one thing, that is comparing with those who do not have this problem. They may not have an MS patient in their family, but they may have some other problem. So we cannot compare and feel bad that only I'm suffering. In the whole of my family, only I'm suffering with an MS patient like that. Very important, simplify your life. Do not complicate your life by thinking of that person said this person behaved badly with me, that person did not take care of me and all that. Simplify life, simplify life. If there is only one person who is helping you, just focus on that person. Forget about those who are not taking care. Forget about those who don't bother. Forget about those who don't inquire. In any family, there will be few members who will be sympathetic about these conditions and will give a helping hand in times of trouble. You may need to reach out to them and vice versa, help them when they are in a crisis situation. Very, very important that take at least half an hour for yourself. Do some pranayams or simple deep breathing exercise you can download from YouTube. Make sure that you eat well and sleep well. If you eat well and you sleep well, particularly if you sleep well, you can make sure that you don't end up with severe complications like depression, anxiety disorder, or other sleep-related problems. Sleep is very, very important. And if possible, try to sleep early. Nowadays, people sleep 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Try to sleep between 10 and 11 and wake up during early hours of the morning. Sleep is very vital. The more you sleep, the better your health will be. The third point is very, very important, that you stay socially connected. Talk to people about your experiences. Don't suffer in silence and don't suffer in isolation. Always reach out to people and talk to people. Find human beings who are willing to spend that time with you. Don't say, I don't have friends at all. It's just a matter of finding the right people and expressing. When you talk about your problems, do not repeat your problems. Just talk about it once and listen to what others got to say. And also when you have friends, don't over talk your problems. Then you get conditioned. The other person can get conditioned. அவங்க வீட்டுக்கு போனா எப்ப பாரு ப்ராப்ளமே பேசுறாங்க. So just talk to the bare necessary minimum. And in your free time, do whatever is required, but have a medical checkup. Have a watch on your physical parameters, like your blood pressure, like your sugar level, like your pulse rate, so that something going wrong can be identified very early and medical intervention can be sought. So to conclude, patients have to care for the carers. And as carers, you have to care for yourself. In many families, it is a single person who is taking care of the MS patient. In such a case, very important that you take good care of yourself. Thank you very much.
Dr. Ravi Samuel, sir, for stressing upon the importance of caregivers. Caregivers are an imperative part of the system and are of paramount importance. Thanks for enlightening us on the same. So all the caregivers who are here, please make a note of what doctor has said. Take some time for yourself. Keep yourself fit physically, mentally, and emotionally. Don't feel bad that you have a person to care for. Think that you are blessed that you have a person to care for. God has made you to care for others. So let us move on. Thank you, Ravi Samuel, sir. Now, next in our agenda, we have a caregiver coming and talking to us about her valuable experience. None other than Mrs. Arya Sundari, madam, who is a caregiver for Shanmuganathan, who has been known to us.
Hello, friends. Good evening, brothers and sisters gathered here. I
Ma'am,
introduce
1 minute.
myself.
Ma'am, I will introduce you first,
I am
ma'am.
caregiver to my husband, who is a MS patient since 1998.
Arya
I
Sundari.
consider God had more confidence in me, and that's why He selected me to give care to my husband. I am always thankful to God to the opportunity. My husband lost sight both in his eyes in 1982. At that time, used to help him to do all his physical activities. Apart from that, I used to read books which develop positive attitudes. I used to encourage him in all possible ways and allowed only persons and friends who encouraged him. While reading stories, I will stop in the middle and allowed him to imagine the rest of the story, which kept him busy and brought confidence in him. Moreover, I used to tell the stories like Robert Crusoe and Spider, which boosted his confidence level. By the treatment given by Dr. Agarwal, he regained sight in both eyes. Again, in the year 1998, he fell into the slump and paralyzed below foot. He was in bed for 1 year. After that, slowly, he began to improve. I used to tell him about the importance of physiotherapy. He always cooperated very well, and then slowly he began to walking with a walker, with a foot stick, and now he is walking with a single foot stick. Both myself and my husband, there are two things essential. First, trust. You should trust yourself. Doctors and caregivers treat of medicine, and you should have confidence that you will achieve the goal at any cost. The value of is enormous. Secondly, patience. You should learn to wait patiently to achieve your goal. The goal cannot be achieved all of a sudden in 1 day. You have to wait till the goal is achieved patiently. Since I studied psychology in my graduation and my husband has studied engineering course, it was very easy for us to take the work of our friends and relatives into account and leave the rest. We used to do both. We encouraged the needy persons. One MS patient who was able to discontinue his medical course, pursue his studies. There is nothing impossible in this world. We believe that if you plan properly and work forward without laziness, you will achieve. Myself and my husband used to plan our daily activities, our physiotherapy activities in connection with our physiotherapists and doctors. Not even a single day passed without physiotherapy. We have displayed two boats. Nothing is impossible, and even you can win fate if you work hard without frustration. I used to manage the finance without knowing. Of course, I had source from all worries, and his concentration should be on physiotherapy. Another important thing not to argue, even if he is wrong. This helped him to have a peace of mind. And we have to tell him it's very important for the family. As a caregiver, I always used to bear in mind that I should physically, mentally, That's why I am doing physical exercise and yoga daily for 1 hour. For relaxation of mind, I engage myself in tailoring and jewelry making for every day. I thank Mrs. Anne and all the concerned authorities to give me this opportunity to speak few words to you. Thank you all.
Chitra, you can say a few words, Chitra. You can introduce her.
Yeah. Thank you, Arya Sundari ma'am, for an inspiring, sweet talk, as always. All of you know Arya Sundari ma'am. Arya Sundari ma'am and Mr. Shanmuganathan, they always come together. And the driver is also so familiar to all of us in the MS family. Mrs. Arya Sundari has her postgraduate in social sciences, and she is a very good homemaker. She is highly talented, making handmade jewelry. Shanmuganathans have a son. The son is settled in US with his family and 2 children. They visit US together, and they come to all our activities in the society. Where even if we are going to beach, we are going outside the society premises also, they are always there. Maybe they are the first person to come and start our programs. I appreciate their untiring efforts to come and attend all our programs together. I know personally how they treat people because I have been to their house in Sholinganallur. She cooks so well, and her hospitality also is so nice to experience. Thank you, ma'am, for such a
Thank you.
wonderful sharing of your experience. They have a physical activity room in their own house where both of them do their physical activities together. She is like made for each other. They are made for each other. That's the word I can say. They, like she said, she plans her activities so well so that they keep themselves very busy, actively, both physically and mentally active. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next in our agenda is book release by Dr. Ravi Samuel. Whatever he has done during the brain lab session, he has consolidated all his activities in the form of a book, Cognition and MS. Dr. Ravi Samuel, sir, please come and have your book release in front of all of us.
Right. See, basically, about 5 years ago, I requested Anne that we should have a brain lab to focus on the cognition of patients, because I noticed in my interaction that many of them had severe memory problems, concentration problems, multiple problems related to the brain. Thankfully, Anne found the money to run this program. I really don't know how she managed, because the sum that I asked for, a huge sum, she just did the magic as usual and raised this money. And now every Thursday we have this beautiful program between 12 and 1, brain exercises. Keetana, can you mute everybody, Keetana? We have this brain lab where very simple brain exercises are given, and all of them are encouraged to perform. This is like a morning exercise. No competition, no competing with each other, just doing certain calculations, doing memory, recollection, learning and recollecting from their own experiences and sharing, to do with emotions, to do with memory and all that. In the process, we have developed this small booklet called Multiple Sclerosis and Cognition. It's basically a guide for the family to understand the importance of stimulating cognitively, because the more a person is cognitively stimulated, the better he can think. If a person is able to think better, then they can function better. So this beautiful exercise was done by a team. Of course, Kavya and Gayatri helped me a lot in putting together this. And now we have this very beautiful booklet. Anyone who is interested can take it up from Kirtana. It is in a PDF format now. And we are very happy to share it with you. Thank you very much.
Can I say a small word over here, Doctor?
Sure. And
Thank you very much, Doctor. I know this was 5-year planning process bearing fruition now. Thank you very much, Doctor. And my grateful thanks goes out to the Chennai Willingdon Trust, who have made it, and Rohini, Mrs. Rohini in particular, who made this possible with the grant that they have given to me over the last 2 years. So thank you, Dr. Ravi Samuel. Thank you, Chennai Willingdon Trust and Rohini in particular for making this book possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi Samuel, sir. I'm sure this book will be a very good insight on advances in cognition and its management and therapies in multiple sclerosis. Dr. Ravi Samuel, sir, the MS Society Chennai chapter wishes you all the very best in all your future endeavors. I'm sure that you will continue doing your grateful services to our MS people so that they are enriched with their activities and also they have a feel of happiness in their life. Thank you so much, sir.
welcome.
Moving on to the next program, Understanding the Caregiver's Burden. We have with us Dr. Venkatraman, MBBS, MD, DM, to give his valuable inputs. Introducing Dr. Venkatraman, I personally feel him as my little brother because he is so person-friendly and what else I can say? I'm seeing the doctor as neuro person, so friendly for the first time. Dr. Venkatraman has, to his credit, done his internship at Kanyakumari Medical College, junior residence at Keelpark Medical College, Chennai, senior residence at Madras Medical College, Chennai, and clinical fellow in neuroimmunology at Walton Center, NHS Foundation Trust, Liverpool, UK. Dr. Venkatraman is working as neurologist in Gleneagles Global Health Hospital, Chennai. He became the first Indian to receive the Clinical Training Fellowship Award from ECTRIMS. He completed his fellowship training in neuroimmunology and neuroinflammatory disorders, including multiple sclerosis, neuromyelitis optica, autoimmune encephalitis, etc. Dr. Venkatraman has actively participated in neuro rehabilitation services. We welcome you, sir, and thank you for sparing your valuable time with us. Doctor, there is a small request from the family of Chennai chapter. You can be bilingual because many of the patients understand Tamil better than English. You can do it in both Tamil and English, a mixture of. Thank you, doctor.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Ann, Mrs. Chitra. Talk by Dr. Ravi Samuel, very encouraging, very inspiring. At the outset, this is a very pleasant moment for me because who would not enjoy such a meeting when you have decided to have your passion of treating one particular specialty, which is the multiple sclerosis. That's what I'm inclined to. I'm a very young person here, a person like Anne, whose life she's dedicated to such a disease makes me even more greedy to do a lot more work in this field of MS. And with this small thank note to them, I'm just going to share my screen. Yeah. Okay. So I'll be very specific about today's topic. I am not going to talk any technical terms. I'm not going to preach anything. No medical subjects here. I'm going to be a very casual person. Do not consider me as doctor here. I like to be Dr. Venkat in my hospital, but it's just Venkat, as Mrs. Chitra introduced me, as anybody, like a brother, a friend. That's what I would like to feel when I talk today. So for most of you, you might have not known me. So they have introduced me well, and that was a big introduction for me. But this screen which you see has two sides, the left one and the right one. I'm very proud, very happy introducing myself on the left one, because that's what I have realized after me being away from the soil for about 2 years. I like to be myself. So I was raised in this very beautiful, நம்ம own சென்னையில தான் வந்தேன், பிறந்தேன், வளர்ந்தேன், எல்லாமே சென்னை தான். I had my childhood in the lush green zone of Anna Nagar. Who have been in Anna Nagar know that that's a very beautiful and green zone. And this is the most important thing. I married a queen who takes care of me so well, who was so understanding to leave me alone for 2 years to pursue my ambition of getting trained in the multiple sclerosis and neuroinflammatory disorders. And in the mean process, I left my princess with her, who's a very cute doll, who you will be seeing in a next slide, which will be coming there. I can listen to any language, have no hesitations to listening anyone, anyway. I am a very patient guy, but I can only understand Tamil and English for now. I'm trying to understand Hindi and maybe Telugu, which is very sought after in Chennai. That's what I'm trying to do. The rest all information is for us to see. Like, these are my credentials. I have a double degree in neurology completed by 2018. But during my training days in the Madras Medical College, the neuroimmunology, especially multiple sclerosis, struck me very hard, because that time we were struggling hard to find the drugs. There wasn't a clear consensus on to this particular disease. It's something, a foreign disease, even in the neurology circles, despite so many stalwarts doing their practice. We happen to have a little exposure as a training students there, because we don't get to see so much. So I decided to see if I can have a luck on getting a training in multiple sclerosis. That's when these beautiful people, the ECTRIMS, who I feel they are the worldwide authorities for the multiple sclerosis disease, had honored me and gave me a fellowship training based on my, it's just a letter. I wrote a letter out of my heart and say, this is what I want to do. I don't want to stay back. It's like a common thing for a doctor to leave to America or Australia or UK, and it's very easy. You get, if you want to stay there, you can always stay there, because people get absorbed. But my letter was very genuine. They accepted that, okay, you want to get trained and you want to go back to serve your own people, we will train you. They sponsored me a fellowship, and that made me move on from this part of the world to this part of the world. I was in the western shores of the British soil doing my fellowship at this prestigious institute called the Walton Center for Neurosciences. I would call it a Mecca for multiple sclerosis, or the Jerusalem or the Kanjipuram for multiple sclerosis. That is what the institute gave me. அந்த இன்ஸ்டிடியூட்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த 2 வருஷம், it was such a beautiful experience. அந்த இடத்துல வந்து மல்டிபிள் ஸ்க்ளீரோசிஸ் யூகேல நம்ம ஊர்ல ஹார்ட் அட்டாக் மாதிரி, எனி லேமன் வில் நோ வாட் அ மல்டிபிள் ஸ்க்ளீரோசிஸ் இஸ். ஏன்னா that much is the population which gets affected in a western country as compared to Asian country. Fingers crossed, it should be less. It should not be that we have not diagnosed so many cases. Fingers crossed, it should be less. So in such a massive MS caring society, the clinics will be organized in this way, where you go and do a MS clinic for those people who are on follow-up. There is a specific clinic only for relapses. So people can't just come into a normal MS clinic. Relapse irundhuduna phone பண்ணிட்டு relapse clinic வந்து அது relapse non relapse pseudo relapse ஆன்னு பார்க்குற மாதிரி ஒரு clinic இருக்கும். அதுக்கப்புறமா we all get together. In UK, getting a patient disease modifying therapy is not as simple as what we do in India. We need 4 consultants to sit together for each and every patient to approve the drug for the patient. It is not for the regulation, it is for choosing what is the best for each patient. ஒரு patient உடைய safety என்ன, efficacy என்ன, what is his personality, will he be compliant, will he go through this, what is his chances for a side effect. We discuss it all, and then we choose two or maximum 3 medications, and then we put it in front of the patient, explain the pros and cons, and let them choose the medication. That's how it goes. It does not be dictated. We give them the chance to choose their own medication, and they choose it with all the confidence because they've got all the information about the medicines. So, idu mattum poduma. Medications are available everywhere. What is not available everywhere is the rehabilitation part. So that is what struck me very much. What happens to those people who got MS, who got hit by it? How to help them out? So I made myself very much interested towards that, and I did a research on that. I'll be sharing that to you within a few minutes. So with that small introduction about me, I'll go to the next slide. So keeping true to the discussion or the topic or the theme of this year's multiple sclerosis, this is for the caregiver. This is the day we celebrate you guys who have been with them. Now, who is a caregiver? On the left is the family of mine, my dad and my mom, my wife, my brother and his wife, and the two children, my daughter and my brother's son. Now, these are my caregivers. Anything happens to me, I look forward towards them, and anything happens to them, I'll be the first to respond. This emotional connection that gives us a sense of strength and security, which we use to help each other. Now, my talk is going to be about only these caregivers. There are also caregivers who get paid for to do their job to make us better. They are also very important. My topic is not going to be about them. It's about us, as Dr. Ravi had already beautifully enumerated in his previous slides. Now, with that introduction, let's go through what happens when somebody gets diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Now, back in UK, everybody knows what is multiple sclerosis because some or the other person around their society has got a multiple sclerosis. Now, let's take a scenario. Like this scenario could be a scenario which you could have gone when you got a multiple sclerosis diagnosis, or your dear would have got a multiple sclerosis. The first question, is it a form of vadam? Idu or vadama, doctor? Idu ennadu? So, அந்த அளவுக்கு தான் நம்ம ஊர்ல மல்டிபிள் ஸ்க்ளீரோசிஸ் பத்தின ஒரு விழிப்புணர்வு இருக்கு. இதுக்கு யார் காரணம்னு நம்ம பேசுறதை விட விழிப்புணர்வு கம்மியா தான் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு நம்ம பேசலாம். இது நாம பேசுறது போன வாரம் ஒரு மாசத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நான் டயக்னோஸ் பண்ண ஒரு மல்டிபிள் ஸ்க்ளீரோசிஸ், ஒரு ஹைலி எஜுகேட்டட் கேர்ள், அவங்களுடைய அப்பா கேட்ட கேள்வி, இது ஒரு வாதமா டாக்டர், இதை சரிப்படுத்திட முடியும்ல? The next question will come. இந்த வார்த்தை வந்தது உடனே கம்ப்ளீட்டா ரெக்கவரி ஆயிடுமா, நிச்சயமா போயிடுமா இவங்க உடம்ப விட்டு அப்படின்ற கேள்வி. இது இன்னொரு வாட்டி வராது இல்ல டாக்டர், இதானே இது கடைசி டைம் வருது அப்படின்ற கேள்வி. நம்ம ஊருக்கு வெரி 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 ஸ்பெசிபிக் ஃபார் நம்ம ஊரு இஸ் சாப்பாடு. இந்த சாப்பாடு விஷயம் நான் வெளியில பார்க்கல. ஏன்னா நம்ம ஊருடைய சாப்பாடு அப்படி, நம்ம ஆஸ் கம்பேர்ட் டு வெஸ்டர்ன் டயட் விச் மைட் நாட் பி தட் வெரைட்டி, நம்ம ஊர்ல இருக்க சாப்பாடு நம்ம ரசிச்சு ருசிச்சு, இன்ஃபேக்ட் மருந்தா யூஸ் பண்ற ஒரு விஷயம். எவ்ரி பர்சன் ஆஸ்க்ஸ் எந்த சாப்பாடு கொடுக்கலாம், எதை அவாய்ட் பண்ணலாம், ஏதாவது அது. அண்ட் ஒரு சென்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஒரு ஃபியர் இருக்கு. ஓகே, அலோபதி மெடிசன் சைட் எஃபெக்ட்ஸ், அலோபதி மெடிசன் லாங் டேர்ம் எடுக்க வைப்பாங்க, நம்ம வேற ஏதாவது ட்ரை பண்ணலாமா? இந்த கேள்வி சில பேர் டாக்டர்கிட்ட கேட்க கூட பயப்படுவாங்க. நான் வேற ஏதாவது ஆல்டர்னேட்டிவ் ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் நான் ட்ரை பண்ணி பார்க்கட்டுமா டாக்டர், அது யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்குமா? தட் இஸ் சம்திங் தே வில் கெட். நம்ம எப்படியாவது பேசிட்டோம், நம்ம இந்த எம்எஸ் பத்தி பேசிட்டோம், மேபி இந்த பர்சனுக்கு ஒரு மெடிகேஷன் தேவைப்படுது அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நம்ம சொல்லிட்டா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் திங் தேர் கோயிங் டு ஆஸ்க், ஏன்னா எம்எஸ் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி a long term issue for some people, எப்ப இந்த மெடிகேஷன் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணலாம்? திஸ் இஸ் a very fair question, everybody should ask it. எப்ப டாக்டர் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணலாம்? இந்த மெடிகேஷனுக்கு என்ன சைடு எஃபெக்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு? இப்ப நம்ம கோர்ஸ் போயிட்டு இருக்கோம், மெடிகேஷன்ல இருக்கோம். How do I know the medicines are working? How do I recognize things are bad? எப்ப நான் உங்ககிட்ட ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ணணும்? வாட் இஸ் ராங், வாட் இஸ் ரைட், எது எப்படி தெரியும் அப்படின்றது ஒரு டவுட். And the next thing is, இது வரைக்கும் it is all about the person and the disease. Next thing is, if that person is the breadwinner, in job affect ஆகுமா, in academics போயிடுமா? If they are aspiring students, as MS can hit the 20 to 40 age group, and specifically the female, again the next question is coming, என் பொண்ணுக்கு எப்படி கல்யாணம் பண்றது? What will I tell? What will happen to her future? Or நான் என் ஹஸ்பண்டுக்கு ஒரு இந்த மாதிரி வந்துருச்சுன்னா, how will I face, how will the family run? So much of questions. Now you see, ஒரு எம்எஸ் டயக்னோஸ் பண்ணும்போது என் பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ்ல ஐம் ஜஸ்ட் ஷோயிங் யூ a few small questions which comes to the caregiver's mind. என் பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ்ல இருந்து பார்க்கும் போதே இந்த ஸ்கிரீன் ஃபுல்லா கிளவுட்ஸா இருக்கு. இட் இஸ் கிளவுடட். when it's clouded, it is dark. You are in a dark, you are just alone, you are cold, you feel very difficult. That is something will happen when all these questions or few more questions which you are having in the mind are not answered in the very right way it should be answered, and not taken forward. And even before you get the answer, it's like you are already getting a news to enter a war. And even before you're answering the questions, you got the answers to the questions, or you got the strategy sorted out, you're already inside the war, because there are very few people who have a sequelae of the MS. A few people who would have suffered some injuries to the brain and the spinal cord because of the MS, and those people will have certain issues which will become a daily thing to care about. Now that will make the caregiver think, என்னுடைய வேலையும் நான் பார்த்துக்கிட்டு, அது குழந்தைய பார்த்துக்கிறதா இருந்தாலும் சரி, ஆஃபீஸ்க்கு போறதா இருந்தாலும் சரி, வீடை பார்த்துக்கிறதா சரி, எப்படி என்னுடைய அன்பானவர்கிட்ட நான் என்னுடைய அவருக்கு தேவையானது என்னால செய்யணும். இட் குட் பி வாட்டர் ஒர்க் ப்ராப்ளம். நான் வாட்டர் ஒர்க் மீன் பண்றது உங்களுடைய பிளாடர் யூரின் இஷ்யூஸ்ல இருக்கலாம். இட் குட் பி a constipation. இதெல்லாம் திங்ஸ் which are a genuine daily problem but are not being talked about. நான் சொல்றது has not explained properly as to why this happens, what can be done in terms of medicine, what can be done from your side. Now everything in your life has 50-50. Now if I give something, you have to give something. You cannot sit on the couch and say, no doctor, it's your job to do everything, I will just follow your orders. No. But அதை நம்ம சொல்லாம இருக்கணும்னா அவங்களுக்கு என்ன அவங்க பண்ணணும்னு தெரியணும். அந்த பண்ணணும்னு தெரியறதுக்கும் they don't have a clue. They maybe like some of them have a very poor balance and they tend to fall down. That triggers a lot of emotional response. ஒரு தடவை கீழே விழுந்தாலும் you get ஒரு palpitation, பதட்டம், ஐயோ அடிபட்டுருச்சே, what is happening, that kind of a fear, and how to avoid it. I mean, these are things which you feel daily. Doctor is not with you, nurse is not with you, Anne is not with you, Chitra madam is not with you, Dr. Ravi is not with you, but you have to face it daily. But you need to know what you can do the best, but you are not, or you might have not been properly informed. I'm not talking about the people in MS society, but this can happen to many people, but this affects the caregiver the most because they are going to see it happen in front of eyes. And the most important thing which people in India actually give a little care about is the fatigue. Now anybody can get a fatigue. Now I can get a fatigue. 2 மணி நேரம் வேலை செஞ்சா எனக்கும் fatigue வரும். People with MS can get it in 1 hour, 50% less than hour. But that cannot be termed as laziness. Now we are in a proper metro city, Chennai metro city, and we are having so many MS people diagnosed and getting treated. How many of you would have faced that being lazy, அப்படின்ற ஒரு வார்த்தை, she's always tired, she doesn't do works, இந்த மாதிரி before getting diagnosed with MS or also after MS? Think about those people in rural area who would have not even got diagnosed with an MS. Throughout they would have it could have been a progressive MS which has fatigue or spasticity accompanying it, and they would have not got diagnosed, and the village people saying, அவன் அப்படிதாங்க சின்ன வயசுல இருந்தே அப்படியே ஒரு லேசியா நாள் அப்படியே இருந்தான், அப்புறம் அப்படியே படுத்துட்டான் ஒரே இடத்துல. This is common. This is what is happening. This should not have happened. And what will happen to the caregiver to these patients? They were going to do the job because they didn't know what to do. The person didn't know what to do. And that's where things go worse. Now, everything is said and done. இதெல்லாம் பண்ணலாம். Dr. Ravi உடைய zone. How will I lift the morale of that person who's suffering? Should I give him a shoulder? Should I console him? Should I motivate him? Because each one is of a different personality. No single shoe fits everybody. Some people like to just be sat with when they are expressing their feelings. Some people want motivation. Some people just want to go out. Like, it's about the personality. And how do I do it? All these things go through the mind of the caregiver. Finally, when everything is getting done, the caregiver ends up losing their own me time. Their time is between the work and the patient. How, with this all happening, there might become a chance that there is a frustration. Now, I've said everything negative. Don't mistake me. This is all just a beginning. The film gets better as it goes. Film always should have a spice. The film should start with the villain starting first and then the hero coming in. So how to go about, how to win this, how to challenge this, and how to help the caregivers, how to help the patients. Now, when you say MS care pyramid, the most important person which I would put is the caregiver next to the MS patient. Now, this yellow shirt, who's the center of this pyramid, is the caregiver. Now, people around him, the topmost of the lot is the MS patient who's receiving care. Don't mistake me. It's not a way to say that MS people only can go with support. Anybody in his life needs support. I'm just a doctor. I need support from my family members, my hospital, like a MS society. Everybody needs to support for me to get my own morale. So many people have to work together to bring up that person. And that includes the caregiver, who's the center of that pyramid, where we physicians and nurses on one side, therapists and counselors, MS organization on the other side. And one of the things which we forget to talk about is the government policy. I'm not going to discuss anything about it now. It might create some controversy, but this is something who makes the pyramid complete, and you are the important person. Now, I've said about the issues. I've talked about the problems. How to solve it? I believe there are, in a medical practice, a doctor, ரெண்டு விஷயம் தான் பார்ப்போம். ஒன்று salvageable issues, இன்னொன்று வந்து personal issues. Like, ஒரு சப்போஸ் லெட் அஸ் டேக் அ ஹார்ட் அட்டாக்கு வந்து என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணலாம்? ஸ்மோக் பண்ணக்கூடாது, ஆல்கோஹால் பண்ணக்கூடாது, மாத்திரை கொடுக்கலாம். எது பண்ண முடியாது? அவங்க ஃபேமிலியா ஆல்கோஹால் இது ஹார்ட் அட்டாக் இருந்தா அது என்னால மாற்ற முடியாது. ஸோ இஸ் இட் ஃபார் அ caregiver to have a healthy mental and physical lifestyle despite caring for the MS person? A strong foundation is required. A strong information is required to make them understand the issue and then deal with it in a realistic way. I am not going to talk about the personality of that person who might worry a lot, might take it easy, which is all Dr. Ravi Samuel's zone. He will help with that. But my zone is to make sure that, for every strong foundation, the ground should be good. You cannot build a building on a very loose ground. A ground should be strong. And so the first job of any consultant or a doctor who deals with an MS should ground the ignorance towards MS. Now, some people are very provocative. They go deal with Google படிச்சுட்டு வருவாங்க. I encourage them to doing that, but I always encourage them to go and Google only after I speak, because that will reduce the number of wasted moments. But still, ignorance ஒழிக்கிறது தான் இதுல first step. Next step is misconceptions. It should be gone. No misconceptions should be there about it. That's where again the consultant makes a big role about clearing off the misconception about the disease, about the treatment, about any other things about MS. And the fear, that's the important thing. Where you are under fear, you are under a lot of immense pressure. That is again where the MS consultant makes a big impact about clearing whatever it is from the mind of the caregiver. Now, once you've done the ground, what is the next step towards the basement? It is about the structure. You put a beam across. So information is everywhere. You now have Google. Information is everywhere. You can find the information. But what is an information worth enough if it's going to confuse you? What is the information worth enough if it is still not cleared your doubts? So there should always be a structure towards giving information. ஒரு விஷயத்தை சொல்லும் போது அதை எந்த முறையில சொல்லணுமோ அந்த முறையில சொல்லி அந்த பர்சனுக்கு புரியுற வைக்கிற வரையும் சொன்னா மட்டும்தான் அந்த சயின்ஸ் ஜெயிச்சுது. அந்த சயின்ஸ் ஜெயிக்கலன்னா there is no point. படிச்சும் பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை, அதை சொல்லியும் பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை. And cement the information which you got out of your knowledge. No, நம்ம வந்து மேஸ்திரியை பத்தி இங்க பேசிட்டு இல்ல. We are talking about the consultant who should do this towards you when you get a diagnosis for an MS. Now let me tell you how I try to take the MS. This is only my concept. My concept is not the best concept. My concept can be a good concept, bad concept, but how I do it in a practice. ஒரு patient first time MS ல வராங்கன்னா diagnosis deliver பண்ணிட்டு illness பத்தின அவங்களுக்கு புரியிற பாஷையில அவங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்ச விதத்துல, suppose he is an engineer, talk in terms of an engineering line which he understands. Suppose she is a homemaker, talk in terms of a homemaking process which he understands. Describe the illness, give a brief introduction, assure them that you are with them. So what I learned in my training is MS requires time. அப்ப வேற எந்த டிசீஸ்க்கும் டைம் தேவையில்லையா? I have the passion towards MS, so I will give more time towards MS. MS definitely requires time. It requires assurance. It requires a doctor to be with the patient at the most important times they want. It doesn't mean that doctor should answer the phone at midnight 12. They should be available with the stressful moments, the initial few weeks, sitting with them, talking to them whenever they feel like they have a doubt, clearing them that they are with them, so that they can rest sure that, okay, there's someone to hear. And then at the initial moment, we also give them certain pills to first treat their presenting symptoms. So first you will believe the doctor only when I alleviate your suffering. It may not be the MS, it may be the complication of an MS. So that will be my first visit thing with any MS person, nothing more, no confusion, and that's it. When you come for the next visit, then I'll talk about the natural history of an MS. ஒரு MS எப்படி பிஹேவ் பண்ணும், ஒரு ரிலாப்சிங் MS எப்படி பிஹேவ் பண்ணும், 10 வருஷம் இங்க இருந்து போச்சுன்னா என்ன எதிர்பார்க்கலாம், 15 வருஷம் கழிச்சு போச்சுன்னா என்ன எதிர்பார்க்கலாம், ஒரு ப்ராக்ரசிவ் எம்எஸ்ஆ இருந்தா அது எவ்வளவு தூரத்துல என்ன பாதிப்பு வரும். ஸோ ஆல் தீஸ் நேச்சுரல் ஹிஸ்டரி based on the literature and based on my experience which I got from UK, I would try to put in for you. Then I will say, how can a relapse present? What are all the symptoms for a relapse? Now, how will you differentiate ஒரு உண்மையான ரிலாப்ஸ்க்கும் ஒரு ரிலாப்ஸ் மாதிரி வர்ற ஒரு ரிலாப்ஸ்க்கும் எப்படி டிஃபரன்ஷியேட் பண்ணலாம், எப்ப ஹெல்ப் சீக் பண்ணணும், எப்ப வரை நீங்க வெயிட் பண்ணலாம், எப்ப நீங்க ஹெல்ப் சீக் பண்ணணும், என்னென்ன டெஸ்ட் பண்ணணும். இது முடிச்சிட்டு தான் then only comes the introduction towards disease modification therapy. Now, one thing which I've clearly learned with the MS training is that in the disease modification therapy is an obsession. Disease modification therapy needs to be there, but that is not the end towards MS. That just forms 20% of the MS care. More to it is about the care that is really given, the support that is really given, the unity and the group which we form. அது முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறமா தான் disease modification therapy நம்ம போவோம். Once நீங்க disease modification therapy எல்லாம் முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் you select a disease modification, then we start about talking about the complications or வந்த issues எப்படி டீல் பண்ணலாம். Now there is something which we are going to prevent. Okay, you lost the legs, now we are preventing the hands with the disease modification therapy. What to do for the legs which you have not lost, like your function is impaired there, how to do and what to do, what best can I do with the medication, what best I can do with the non-medication things. Now that made me very interested towards the physiotherapy. So I made myself, I gave away medicines for some time. I sat, நானே போய் வால்டன் சென்டர்ல பிசியோதெரப்பி கூட உட்காந்துப்பேன், அவங்க கிட்ட பர்சனலா பிசியோதெரப்பி ட்ரெயின் ஆனேன் நான். So that if I need something, see, now in this society, if I tell the physiotherapist do physiotherapy, he might do anything he wants, but that should not be the way how it is done. When I need the person to do this and I know that, I can specifically tell the physiotherapist this is what has to be done. It's only the time that makes different from them, and definitely the physiotherapists are well qualified than me, but I don't have the time to give them the physiotherapist, but I can transfer my thoughts about what has to be done to your leg, your arms, and that can be executed by the physiotherapist. So for that I need to know how a physiotherapy functions. So I got myself trained in that and I started to do it. And then finally only comes the concept on what how to introduce you to the MS team. Not everybody in an MS suffering population will need a bigger team to work on. Some people will have completely normal outcomes after relapse. Then a few people will have complications. And introducing to the team, which should consist of a physiotherapist, the occupational therapist, the counselors, the psychologists, the organization, and an MS nurse, which is still not available in India, should also be part of the team. So a progress and information like this will only clear all the doubts, will make the people live with the reality. They'll come to know, okay, this is how a disease can behave. Oh, this is why the disease happens. Oh, I can expect this. Oh, what should I do when I expect this? What should I not do? Okay, this is how it is. So I shouldn't be over expecting at this point. Oh, this is the reality. So this makes them the clouds gets cleared and then the ray of sunlight, வெளிச்சம் தெரியும். Once the வெளிச்சம் தெரிஞ்சதுன்னா, at least I have made sure from my part that the confusion is gone, which is one of the major things which cause a havoc in the caregiver's mind. And the way forward in this MS, which I have personally felt, is the group sessions, which Dr. Ravi has already been doing. The group session, which has to be interactive, it is a programmed session, unlike just a talk which I'm giving now. It should be highly interactive. It should come up with an assignment homework, and you should come up. We should start with some motivational things and then go with only part of it. See, human mind only is attentive for 30, at the max 40 minutes. அதை தாண்டி எதுவுமே பண்ண முடியாது. அந்த 30 மினிட்ஸும் ஜாய் ஓரியன்டா, ஃபன் ஓரியன்டா, ஒரு விஷயத்தை பத்தி கொஞ்சமா படிச்சுட்டு அதை பத்தின இன்ஃபர்மேஷனை போயிட்டு வீட்டில் ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு தென் யூ ஷுட் கம் பேக். Now it should always be measurable. Nothing, ஒரு விஷயத்தை மெஷர் பண்ணாம நம்ம பண்ணோம்னா we won't know how it is successful. ஒரு ஸ்கேல் வச்சு அந்த குரூப் செஷன் ஆரம்பிச்சு அந்த ஸ்கேல் வச்சு அந்த குரூப் செஷன் முடியும் போது did you really improve? That is where the session succeeds. So in that you can do a fatigue management session, which is something called facets in UK. Facets fatigue management program. It's a 6-week program. ஒரு bladder rehab பண்ணலாம், ஒரு bowel care பண்ணலாம், ஒரு exercise program பண்ணலாம். Mental health, I'm not the right person, but we have people here. Dr. Ravi is here. And the most important thing is very less talked about is vaccination in MS. So I think there will be a lot of questions about this today. I'll be waiting for it. I'll not talk more here. Then my specific thing, I don't know, people might even abuse me, curse me. I like personally visiting the MS people at home. I used to do that out of my interest in UK, and I'm supposedly doing that here also, only for people who cannot visit the hospitals because of their the logistic issues, their disease issues and other things. I personally like to visit them. Only why? Because I like to reduce the complications which happens inside their house. So I go there, plan their house, design their interiors to avoid falling. I like to work on their exteriors to make them more mentally oriented, and work on certain assisted device which will make them far better than what they are today, and sometimes also help out in their occupational areas, where I talk to their own companies to make sure that they see the for example, an IT person doesn't understand what an MS person is going through. It's very difficult. It's a different platform. This is a different platform, but I can communicate to them in a way and make sure that, and I've done that, so that this person is having these issues. If you are looking for a job like this, like it is not suitable, but you can also include him in this kind of a job. So that would make somebody's occupation saved, even though he's very good in their occupation, they might lose on it and you can save it. I'm looking forward to such a kind of approach which makes the caregiver and also the patient work in liaison. Now this is what I was talking about. This is my paper which I presented in the ECTRIM Sweden. So my research is on the comprehensive rehabilitative intervention on the quality of life, disease impact and symptom control in persons with MS. So I 3 இடத்தை work பண்ணேன். ஒன்னு vestibular rehabilitation, giddiness in MS. Another one is exercise program, and the most important of all is the fatigue management program, which I worked upon, and I really saw the difference. It was fascinating. So that is something which I'm very interested to work on. Now the last slide is the organization's role. This is my first time to the MS Society of India Chennai chapter, but I was working with the Multiple Sclerosis Trust in the United Kingdom. There were a beautiful lot of people who had only one thing in their mind: how to make the life of the MS people better. And I see that from today's introduction towards the MS Society, I see that the same thing is happening in here in Chennai chapter or the MS Society of India. They are the most important people because it's one-on-one, one doctor and one patient. This is a very narrow pathway. It cannot serve a lot more people. A doctor in India cannot be practicing MS alone, as against one in UK. So let me also tell you, I was about to be a consultant in MS, but they tried a lot. I wasn't able to get Chennai out of my mind. So I came back during this COVID pandemic, citing the reason என் ஃபேமிலி அங்கே இருக்காங்க, என்னால் அவங்கள பிரிஞ்சு வாழ முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு தான் இங்கே வந்துட்டேன். பட் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு செட்டப் இங்கே கிடையாது. இங்கே டாக்டர்ஸ் ஆர் ஆல் பிஸி. They have to deal with a lot more patients other than MS, but MS requires time. So for that to be organized, for the MS people to get connected to each other, connected to the caregiver, connected to the service, we need a service like MSSI. And I think we need to give a lot more to this MSSI to make it it's achieved a lot. I am very sure it's achieved a lot. And I think it's our role to make sure that this is growing as a bigger organization and helping more people. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. This talk was purely to connect with you. And for those people who expected some take-home messages on how to manage that, I'm here now for the next few minutes for you to answer all your questions. That would be nice to answer rather than me presenting it. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Doctor, I'm Shivkumar here.
Yeah.
Shivkumar, 1 minute. 1 minute, Shivkumar.
Shivkumar here.
Mr. Shivakumar, or nimisham, madam edo pesi mudicha apra we'll talk.
Shivkumar,
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Let me conclude his talk. Doctor, it was such a wonderful talk given by you. Nice presentation. Thank you so much. We expect you to be with us in our future meetings and our activities. You are also part of Chennai Multiple Sclerosis Society now. Welcome. This is Anne Gonsalves, and the team is also ready to do whatever she assigns to us. As you rightly said, we are also, our only aim is to have a good life for the MS people. Thank you, Doctor. And I think now, whoever wants to raise a question, they can raise the hand. That raising the hand is there. And one by one, Kirtana can call them, and Doctor will answer the questions very patiently. Thank you. Shivakumar, you can start.
Shivakumar sir, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I have unmuted.
Huh.
Yeah. Good evening, doctor.
Good evening, sir.
Sir, I am a MS person since 2007.
Yes.
And I am using this azothioprine and Omnacatal 5 mg, 2.5 mg alternative days for the past 14 years. I had a massive heart attack on January 4th, doctor.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Basically,
sorry.
I don't have BP, I don't have sugar, I don't have cholesterol. But what the cardiologist told that it is stress-generated heart attack. 90% block in left AD. That's what done. They put a stent on the left this thing.
All right, sir. Is there something which I can answer for you?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to ask something?
Yeah, can I vaccinate now? Because I've been in steroids for the past 13 years.
Okay.
So I have stent.
Right. So that's an important thing. Now, the hot burning question about the vaccination. Now, when I have to answer about the vaccination, there are two things which everybody's mind. I'm already on an immunosuppressive therapy. Now, won't I get something out of the vaccination? The other thing is about the cardiac conditions which have been doing the round. The famous actor passed away after vaccination, all such things. I will be very open about it.
Yes, doctor.
Now the first scenario is suppression and the vaccination. Vaccination and immunosuppression. Like we follow the guidelines, 2019 Canadian guidelines on immunosuppression for vaccination in immunosuppression, and the European guidelines clearly say that you can vaccinate a person while on immunosuppression, provided the vaccine is a killed vaccine. And what we have in COVID vaccine is a killed or an attenuated vaccine. It is not a live vaccine as against the polio vaccine, which we used to give. It's a live vaccine. It's a killed vaccine, and the chances of you developing something out of it is very far less. And the recent publication which came in February 2021 clearly has demonstrated that vaccine has not had any adverse effects in multiple sclerosis patients post-vaccination. And one more information about vaccination. It's not about the COVID vaccine, it's about any vaccination for the matter of fact in MS. Vaccination helps in preventing the next relapse. Now you get an infection that is inside itself a trigger factor for, and you don't want a relapse because of an infection. You're trying to prevent an infection. So vaccination helps in preventing a relapse. Vaccination is safe in MS. Proofs are there. Now there is a very small doubt about can vaccination induce a demyelination? Yes, vaccination can induce a demyelination or an attack, but the chances of getting a relapse out of an infection against which you are getting vaccinated is far, far, far more, less compared to the relapse you get with the vaccine induced demyelination. Now, answering to the second question, cardiac ailment and vaccines. Now, there are too many people. You see only one because the media is so hypocritical here, or people are so negatively wired. They bring about the information. So my family my mom and dad both are taking aspirin, right? There are too many people in my family. Everybody is on antiplatelets. Everybody's got vaccinated. Nobody had anything. So there are reports of vaccine and the heart attacks or whatever it is, but we are not able to clearly prove whether it was a natural heart attack or it was due to the vaccine. So on the larger picture, we are missing out something very important, and we are taking away only the tidbits which are actually not so proven. So I would personally strongly recommend everyone here, not alone Mr. Shivakumar, everyone here to undergo this vaccination program which the government is driving. Please protect yourself.
Yes, doctor. Thanks a lot for your kindness, doctor.
Yeah, thank you.
Malavika?
Yeah, actually,
Yes, ma'am.
hello.
Chitra, can I speak now? This is Tara here.
There are two people who are speaking.
Good evening, doctor. This is Tara here, doctor. Good evening.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Really enjoyed your talk very much. It was very, very good.
Thank you.
I wanted to check with you, doctor. How do we connect with you in order to get a personalized exercise program? Not cardio, sorry, an exercise program.
Well, at the present moment, that's the challenging question. Everybody is going through this COVID thing. We are not able to connect anywhere personally, and an exercise program definitely requires a one-on-one connection.
Okay.
Right. In person, it is difficult to work on it because you need to be demonstrated and you need to be properly thought about. And I will just be supervising it because if I commit to an exercise program, it will be very difficult. But I'm going to get a few physiotherapists to work in liaison with me and get this done.
Correct.
But I'm as much as you. I'm waiting for this second wave at least to end. And all those people who come to me, I'll first personally say, did you get vaccinated? That's the first thing I'll ask, because maybe I am a carrier. I don't have the infection. I don't want to transmit that infection to you. With the same thing, maybe I got vaccinated. I can be a carrier. I can get infected, but the symptoms are not happening. So when all these get settled, it should be by the end of this year, which we are looking at. Uncertain times, but I'm hoping for that to happen.
Okay.
For now,
is there any sort of a video call we can do and you can just have a look at and make some suggestions or anything?
Yeah, that I would welcome. I can try and see how much I can do over a video call. I will try my best. I have done
a limited amount would be helpful, because right now we're not able to get physiotherapists home and all that.
Sure. I can maybe I will work out with one of my physiotherapists. We both can sit together. That will be a nice way to do. Rather than me alone sitting, it's like you call and we both see, and then what do you see, what do you feel, what do you think about what to work on, and then we should start. Now, all these plans were happening in the mind before which this COVID had unsettled things. And this was personally asked by Mrs. Chitra. She asked, Doctor, can we go around looking for people with a like-minded to work on with people with MS in each zone of Chennai, so that everybody gets benefited out of it. That process is just to be initiated. I've just started with a few. There are a few people who I've got on board with. I'll try to do the best, ma'am. We can do a video call in the coming days, and we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see.
And
Doctor, can I come in with a suggestion? Can I come in with a suggestion?
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
month
Yes.
of June, we will arrange a program, Doctor, where
Right.
we conduct an exercise program. We'll get our physiotherapists who are already there, plus patients who are interested in learning directly. We'll get you on board. We'll get them on board. So they many can benefit by it. Whoever's interested can benefit from it.
That's good, ma'am. That's the way to do
Single
it.
session for Tara, a single session for Chitra, a single session for me.
So
We'll do
that's
this as a consolidated effort. In the month
that's the thing I was talking about, the group sessions.
Yes, we'll do a
group sessions are the way forward, and if that can happen, that will be the best thing.
Yes, Doctor. Sure. We'll look at it. We'll look at it in a positive manner. We can start off even in the first week of June if it's okay with you. For us,
I'm fine, ma'am. I'm
yes.
fine.
So I'll come back to you, Doctor. So Tara, we'll take it forward from there, Tara.
Thank you.
Doctor, can I come in? Doctor, can I come in a minute?
Yeah, please.
Doctor, I need your advice.
Right. And who's this?
I'm Shashidharan.
Yes, sir.
Multiple sclerosis patient for the last 50 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The last 5-6 years, finding it very difficult to walk. That's the one problem. And of course, as you put it, my waterworks giving me problem. Now walking is a problem. My back muscles preventing me from standing straight. I have to bend forward, and that's my main problem. Cognition, etc., no problem. Writing, no problem. My walking is the problem now.
So after the pandemic, would like to have a consultation with your doctor.
Yeah, we can do that, ma'am. And ma'am has already said she's going to arrange something big for us. I'll work in line with liaison with Mrs. Ann, and we'll let this do. We'll definitely.
It was very wonderful listening to you, doctor. You had explained it very well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Doctor, may I ask you 2 questions?
And who's this?
Malvika.
Malvika, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, actually, doctor, as per what I know about MS is our cells reacting against our bones instead of reacting against some strangers who enter our body. So in this vaccination, they are going to inject the COVID inside us. So won't it react in a bursar manner?
Right. So that's a very nice question. I like that kind of a question. See, so now, yeah, first thing, let me just
Talk in Tamil, doctor. I wanted to reach a larger audience. Tamil, please.
கொஞ்சம் லைட்டா உங்களுடைய கான்செப்ட் கொஞ்சம் ட்வீக் பண்ணிக்கலாம். கரெக்ட் தான். உங்க சொந்தமான உங்களுடைய எதிர்ப்பு அணுக்கள் உங்களுடைய நரம்புக்கு எதிராக செயல்பட்டு இருக்கு. இதான் MS, கரெக்டா? இதான் உங்களுடைய கான்செப்ட் படி அதுதான். உங்க சொந்த எதிர்ப்பு அணுக்கள் உங்களுக்கு நரம்புக்கு அகைன்ஸ்டா செயல்பட்டு இருக்கு. சோ இப்ப நீங்க கேட்கறது வந்து கோவிட் வேக்சினேஷன் இத உள்ள கொண்டு வந்துட்டா இந்த இது வந்து இன்னும் அதிகமா செயல்படாதா? அதானே நீங்க கேட்க வரீங்க?
எஸ் சார்.
கரெக்ட். இதேதான். பட் நீங்க என்ன ஒண்ணு புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னா, இந்த கோவிட் வேக்சினேஷன் நம்ம ஒரு ஒரிஜினல் வைரஸை உள்ள விட போறது இல்ல. 2 வேக்சின் இருக்கு. எனக்கு ஸ்புட்னிக் வேக்சினை பத்தி தெரியாது, அதை பத்தி எனக்கு ஐடியா இல்ல. நம்ம ஊர்ல 2 வேக்சின் இருக்கு. ஒன்னு கோவிஷீல்டு, இன்னொன்னு கோவேக்சின். கோவிஷீல்டுன்றது ஒரு இன்ஆக்டிவேட்டட் வேக்சின், ஒரு வைரஸ். அந்த வைரஸால மல்டிப்ளை பண்ண முடியாது, இனப்பெருக்கம் பண்ண முடியாது. என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா, அந்த வைரஸை எடுத்து அந்த வைரஸ்குள்ள இருக்கிற DNA வெளில எடுத்து இந்த கோவிட் வேக்சினுடைய ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் புரோட்டீனை எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் பண்றதுக்கு மட்டும் அது ரெடி பண்ணாங்க. ஏன் அந்த பர்டிகுலர் புரோட்டீன்? அந்த புரோட்டீனுக்கு பேர் வந்து M புரோட்டீன். இந்த புரோட்டீன் தான் நம்ம உடம்புக்கான டேமேஜ் உருவாக்குது. ஸோ இந்த கோவிஷீல்டை உள்ள போட்டோம்னா அந்த புரோட்டீன் மட்டும் எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் ஆகும். நம்ம இம்யூன் செல்ஸ் எல்லாம் அதுக்கு அகெயின்ஸ்டா ஒர்க் பண்ணும். நம்ம இம்யூன் செல்ஸ் எல்லாம் அதுக்கு அகெயின்ஸ்டா டியூன் ஆகும். நான் ரெண்டாவது கோவேக்சின் ஒரு ஸ்டெப் அதிகமா போய் அந்த புரோட்டீனை மட்டுமே உங்க உடம்புக்குள்ள விட்டுட்டாங்க. சரிங்களா? ஸோ என்ன நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி ஒருவேளை இதை போட்டா இம்யூன் செல்ஸ் வந்து அதிகமா ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆகி உங்க நியூரான்ஸை அட்டாக் பண்ணாதா? சான்சஸ், தியரிட்டிக்கல் சான்சஸ் ஆர் தேர், நான் இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல மாட்டேன். பட் இதே கொஸ்டின் நீங்க மல்டிபிள் ஸ்க்ளீரோசிஸா இருந்து கேட்குறீங்க. நாம இப்படி போவோமே, மல்டிபிள் ஸ்க்ளீரோசிஸ் ஒண்ணுதான் நம்ம உடம்புல இருக்கிற ஒரே ஒரு ஆட்டோ இம்யூன் டிசார்டரா? இல்லவே இல்லை. மல்டிபிள் ஸ்க்ளீரோசிஸோட ஃபார் 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 அக்லி டிசீசஸ் ஆர் தேர். அதெல்லாம் வந்து ருமட்டாலஜிஸ்ட்னு ஒரு குரூப் ஆஃப் பீப்புள் ஹேண்டில் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. உங்களை விட ஃபார் ஃபார் ஹைலி போட்டன்ட் இம்யூனோ சப்ரசிவ் தெரப்பியில இருக்கவங்களாமும் இருக்காங்க. தி டேட்டா இஸ் வெரி கிளியர். வேக்சின்னால வர்ற பெனிஃபிட்டை விட வேக்சின்னால வரப்போற அந்த மினிமல் ரிஸ்க், இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஒரு 1,00,000 பேர்ல ஒரு 10 பேருக்கு வேக்சின்னால ஒரு அட்டாக் வருதுன்னா அந்த 1,00,000 பேருக்கு அந்த வேக்சின் போட்டு அந்த இன்ஃபெக்ஷனை ப்ரிவென்ட் பண்ணி அந்த அட்டாக்கை குறைக்கிறது ஃபார் மோர் பெனிஃபிஷியல் தேன் திஸ். நம்ம வந்து ஃபால்ஸா வந்து இல்லவே இல்லை உங்களுக்கு ஒன்றும் வராதுன்னு சொல்ல மாட்டேன். பட் இந்த கோவிட் பேண்டமிக், இது பேண்டமிக். நான் ஒன்றும் உங்களை டெய்லியும் போயிட்டு ஒரு சாதாரண வேக்சின் போட்டுக்க சொல்லலை. நான் வந்து ஐ எம் நாட் டெல்லிங் யூ டு இன்ஜெக்ட் ஒரு ஆர்டினரி வேக்சின். ஓகே, நீ இந்த வேக்சின் போட்டுக்கோ, இந்த வேக்சின். திஸ் இஸ் அ பேண்டமிக். த சான்சஸ் ஆஃப் யூ கெட்டிங் திஸ் பேண்டமிக் இஸ், இந்த ஒரு இன்ஃபெக்ஷன் உங்களுக்கு வரதுக்கு சி ஆல்மோஸ்ட் 20%. every 1 in every 5 is now COVID infected. தமிழ்நாடு, I'm talking about தமிழ்நாடு. 5 பேர் எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா 1 person is getting infected with the COVID. With such a infection, sure to get infected with the COVID. Two things can happen. You can have the complication of the COVID itself, or what the chances of you getting a relapse out of a COVID is still high. Then your chances of you getting the vaccine related relapse, that is far low. I would advocate on taking this risk. இப்போ if you ask me, MSA இல்லாதவங்களுக்கே வேக்சின் போட்டு ரிலாப்ஸ் வந்திருக்கு. பட் எங்கேயோ ஒரு லட்சத்துல ஒரு ஆளுக்கு வர்ற அந்த சைடு எஃபெக்ட் அப்படி பாத்தீங்கன்னா நீங்க உங்க லைஃப் டைம் ஃபுல்லா மெடிகேஷன் எடுத்திருக்கீங்க, இங்கிலீஷ் மெடிசன். ஈவன் ஃபார் அ ஸ்மாலஸ்ட் கோல்ட் யூ ஹவ் டேக்கன் மெடிகேஷன். That medication has side effect you have never asked for. Now, because of the media's hype which has been created around this vaccine, you have been educated that this is highly dangerous. Every medication has its own side effect. That people who will get it. We may not be that person, and it's very, very rare to get. So in that context, you can prevent yourself from infection, and you can prevent yourself from a relapse out of an infection. That will go far more than you getting a vaccine related complication. For those who didn't understand this in Tamil, I'm telling you the chances of you getting a vaccine related side effect is far less, far weighed down compared to a vaccine induced benefit, which works in two ways. It will help you pass through the COVID. See, I'm not telling if the vaccine given will prevent you from an infection. You may get infected, but the chances of you succumbing to it or you getting the lung injury severely is far less compared to those who have not got vaccinated. That is something we are working on, and we are now in a position probability where 20% of the population is infected. We are not safe, and vaccine has to be taken. Vaccine also prevents the relapse out of a infection. The message is very clear.
Yeah. And my second question is,
Sir, can I tag you?
Sir, I'll answer Malavika and come. She let her complete. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a doubt, like, will this vaccine also prevent me from black fungi? They are saying some fungi is also coming now.
Right.
COVID with this will kill about 52% mortality rate.
Right. So that gives me another chance to talk about this fungus. We have treated that fungus right now in our department. We have 2 people. So let me tell about this fungus. This fungus is, first of all, the good thing is this fungus does not get transmitted from one person to another person. This fungus is a fungus which can be commonly seen in the soil, on any surface, and even in your nose. You may have this fungus right now in your nose. It's a common commensal. Like in our body, there are a lot of organisms inside our body. They are existing with us without troubling us. That can be this fungus. Now, when does this fungus affect you? This fungus can affect you only when you have a high glucose level, uncontrolled. Now, when you are exposed to the steroids excessively for the last year, you have a risk, and you injure your natural defense mechanism. By meaning a natural defense mechanism, I'm talking about the nasal mucosa. நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க, நம்ம பாடியில ஒரு இன்ஃபெக்ஷன் நம்ம உடம்புக்குள்ள வரணும்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நேச்சுரல் பேரியர் ஸ்கின், நோஸ், எவ்ரிதிங் ஸ்டாப்ஸ் இட். அதுக்கப்புறமா அது உள்ள வந்தாதான் இம்யூன் சிஸ்டம் போய் அது கூட போய் அட்டாக் பண்ணும். நம்ம சப்போஸ் லெட் அஸ் அஸ்யூம் நம்ம இந்த the recent concept which is doing the rounds is excessive steam inhalation leading to the breaking of the nasal mucosa. By the still inhalation தப்புன்னு நான் சொல்லல, சும்மா steam inhalation பண்ணி nasal mucosa break பண்ணி you shouldn't give a chance for the common living thing to enter in. So should somebody in this crowd who is having a poor glycemic control be a little careful and keep their sugars under control. When using the mask, that is the most important zone which is being found. Mask போடும்போது please wash it and use. When you are reusing in the mask, try to see if you wash the outer surface and try to dispose of masks which have been used for a long time. That's the only way you can stop it. No COVID, no vaccine can stop this fungus infection. And as we are thinking, this is not that bad as a organism as when compared to the COVID. It's just around in hundreds right now. It's not in millions. So it is not for a person like you. I believe you're a young person and you don't have any comorbidities. It doesn't affect you, right?
Sorry, and sonnuke பெட்டடா இருக்கான்
சார். உங்க பேரு சார்? பேரு
நஞ்சுண்டேஸ்வரன் சார்.
சரிங்க சார், சொல்லுங்க சார்.
சன்னுக்கு பெட்டடா இருக்கான். அவனுக்கு ஏதாவது கைசாப்ரி போட்டு 4 years ஆச்சு. 24 இன்ஜெக்ஷன் கொடுத்து அதுக்கப்புறம் வர வேண்டான்ட்டாங்க. போக முடியல. இப்ப பெட் வேற ஒண்ணுமே நானும் ஏஜ்ட் பர்சன், அதனால பாத்துக்கிறது வேற ஆளும் இல்ல. வேற ஏதாவது இப்ப ஏதாவது புதுசா ட்ரக் வந்திருக்கா சார்? இப்ப லேட்டஸ்டா டினாப்சி 14 கூட கொடுத்தேன் சார் ஒரு 7 months. அது ஒன்றும் பெனிஃபிட் இருக்கிற மாதிரி தெரியல, அதனால அதை டிஸ்கண்டினியூ பண்ணிட்டேன்.
சரிங்க சார். சார் ஓகே, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் உங்களுடைய ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின். இப்ப பாத்தீங்கன்னா MS பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நம்ம கொடுக்குற இந்த மெடிகேஷன்ஸ், மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த மெடிகேஷன்ஸ் இன்னொரு அட்டாக் ஃபர்தர் வர்சனிங்கை தடுக்கிறதுக்கு தான் கொடுக்குறோம். நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். ஏற்கனவே அதனால உங்க நரம்புகள் தழும்பா மாறி இருந்ததுன்னா, ஸ்கார் ஆயிருந்ததுன்னா, அதை இந்த மெடிகேஷன்ஸ் ஒன்றும் செய்யாது. நல்லா புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. நம்ம இதை ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்றது, அவருக்கு சப்போஸ் அவர் கைகாலெல்லாம் இறுக்கமா இருக்கு, ஸ்டிஃபா இருக்குன்னா அந்த ஸ்டிஃப்னஸை குறைச்சி, அந்த ஸ்டிஃப்னஸ்க்கு அப்புறம் குறைச்சதுக்கு அப்புறமா அதை எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணி அப்புறமா இதை ரிலீவ் பண்ண முடியும். அதுக்கு முதல்ல அவர் எப்படி இருக்காருன்னு நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். நம்ம இந்த புது மெடிகேஷன் வந்துருச்சு, இந்த புது மெடிகேஷன் வந்துருச்சுன்னா அந்த மெடிசன்ஸ் மேல நம்ம போடுற அந்த பெனிஃபிட் இவருடைய எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் ப்ராப்ளமை சரிப்படுத்துறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு ரொம்ப கம்மி. இவருக்கு இப்ப இதுக்கு மேல சப்போஸ் அவர் கால் வரல, கை வருது அப்படின்னா அந்த கையை இழக்காம தடுக்கிறதுக்கு இந்த மெடிசன்ஸ் யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கலாம். பட் கால் வராத பட்சத்துல அந்த காலை இன்னும் பெட்டர் ஆக்கிறதுக்கு இந்த மெடிசன்ஸ், நீங்க சொல்ற எந்த புது மெடிசனுமே பத்தாது. இதுக்கு அதுக்குதான் நான் என்னுடைய டாக்லயும் நான் ரொம்ப கிளியரா சொன்னேன், 20% தான் மெடிசனுடைய வேல்யூ. நம்ம எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து ஒவ்வொரு பேஷண்ட்டுக்கு ஒன்னா என்ன தொந்தரவோ அதை மருந்து வாரியா எவ்வளவு பண்ண முடியும், எக்ஸசைஸ் வழியா எவ்வளவு பண்ண முடியும், எவ்வளவு மோட்டிவேஷன்ல பண்ண முடியும், அப்படிதான் அதை கொண்டு வர முடியும். நீங்க ஒருவேளை என்கிட்ட எதிர்பார்த்திருக்கலாம், ஏதாவது புது மெடிசன் இது பண்ணிட்டா சரியாயிடும். ஐம் சாரி, ஃபால்ஸ் ஹோப் நான் எதுவுமே கொடுக்க மாட்டேன். இருக்கிறத உண்மையை தான் சொல்ல முடியும்.
பிசியோதெரபிஸ்டும் வரமாட்டேங்கிறாங்க சார். அவங்க ரொம்ப அதிகம் கேட்கறாங்க, என்னால பேர் பண்ண முடியாது.
கொஞ்சம் பொறுத்துக்கோங்க சார். நான் கூட நானும் பேசிட்டு நாங்க ஏதாவது இது ஒரு நல்ல காஸ்க்காக தான் சேர்ந்திருக்கோம். நானும் என்கிட்டயும் இந்த ஒரு ரிக்வெஸ்ட் வந்திருக்கு. மைண்ட் செட்ல இதை ஒரு சர்வீஸா பண்றதுக்கு யாரால முடியாதோ, யாரால அஃபோர்ட் பண்ண முடியாதோ அதை பண்றதுக்கு யாரையாவது நான் ரெடி பண்ணணும். நானே இப்ப இந்த சென்னைக்கு நான் இன்னும் ஒன் இயர் கூட ஆகல. லாஸ்ட் இயர் வந்தேன், இப்பதான் இந்த 1 year ஆக போகுது. யாரையும் மீட் பண்ற கூட இந்த கோவிட் சான்ஸ் கொடுக்கல. பட் we will try to sort something. and with us, நான் கிட்ட பேசிட்டு என்ன பண்ண முடியுமோ பண்றேன்.
அதான் நான் ஒரு பென்ஷனர் சார், வேற எனக்கு சப்போர்ட் யாரும் இல்ல. அதான் அவனை வேற அவனுக்கு கம்ப்ளீட் பெட்டடா இருக்கான். அத்தனையும் அவனுக்கு நான் தான் பண்ணி ஆகணும். I am 77.
I understand sir. I perfectly understand your difficulties. In a phone I can talk this much. உங்களை பத்தின full details எல்லாம் எனக்கு அப்புறம் சொன்னாங்கன்னா we can work out. சரிங்களா? இப்ப மருந்து சைடுல
உங்களுக்கு அனுப்புவோம், ஆட் பண்ணதுக்கு அனுப்புவோம் சார்.
Yeah, Mr. Nageshwaran, I'll talk to you tomorrow and I'll connect with doctor. We'll see what best we can do for Venkat. I hope you're enjoying. He's enjoying the new cot we sent him. Is it useful to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Very good. We sent him a new cot with all the apparatus and all to help his father because of his difficulty. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'll talk with you tomorrow. Don't forget. I won't forget.
Yes.
Good evening, doctor.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Who's this?
Hello. Good evening, doctor.
Solunga sir. Peru.
Radhakrishnan. என் நேம் ராதாகிருஷ்ணன். என் ஒய்ஃப் செல்வி வந்து MS பேஷண்ட் டாக்டர்.
சரிங்க சார்.
அவங்களுக்கு வந்து பிளட் வந்து இப்ப சின்னதா லைட்டா டச் பண்ணா இல்ல பிஞ்ச் கில்லுனா அந்த மாதிரி பிளட் மாதிரி ரத்தம் கட்டிடுது மேடம், கிளாட் ஆயிடுது சார். அவங்க வந்து வேக்சினேஷன் எடுத்துக்கலாமா சார்?
அவங்க ஏற்கனவே ஏதாவது பிளட் தின்னர்ஸ்ல இருக்காங்களா சார்?
சாரி,
ஏற்கனவே பிளட் தின்னர்ஸ்ல இருக்காங்களா? பிளட் தின்னர் ஏதாவது
இல்ல, அது எதுவும் எடுக்கல சார் அவங்க.
அப்பனா ஒன்றும் ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை சார்.
ஆனா லைட்டா அடிபட்டாவே அந்த இடம் அப்படியே பிளாக் ரெட்டிஷா அப்படியே ரத்தம் கட்டி ஒரு 10 நாள் 20 நாள் அப்படியே இருக்கும் சார் அவங்களுக்கு.
சரி, நம்ம ஒண்ணு பண்ணலாம். we can ஒரு பேசிக்கா பிளேட்லெட் கவுண்ட், ஒரு கோயகுலேஷன் பாராமீட்டர் PT, INR, APTT இந்த 3 டெஸ்ட் மட்டும் எடுத்துட்டு அதெல்லாம் நார்மல்னா தைரியமா போய் இன்ஜெக்ட் பண்ணலாம்.
ஓகே சார், தேங்க் யூ சார்.
ஓகே, டன்.
தேங்க் யூ மேடம். ஆனி மேடம், தேங்க் யூ மேடம்.
Doctor, and the test is
platelet count, platelet count, PT, INR, APTT.
BT, INR, AP get platelet count. Okay sir.
PT, INR, APTT.
Okay sir. நான் அந்த கீர்த்தனா மேடம் வாட்ஸ்அப்ல வாங்கிக்கிறேன் சார். Thank you sir. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you doctor. ஏனா எனக்கும் அந்த ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு.
ஆனி மேடம், thank you மேடம்.
Welcome ராதாகிருஷ்ணன், சொல்லுங்க.
டாக்டர்கிட்ட பேச வரவங்க கொஞ்சம் செல்ஃபா இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. டாக்டர் இதுதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் நம்மள எல்லாரையும் பாக்குறாங்க. நீங்க இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு வீடியோல வந்துட்டு ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் கேட்க ஆரம்பிங்க. Thank you.
Chitra, how many more questions do we have, Chitra?
We can have, it's already 6:35. We can have 4 questions. Okay.
Then we can ask doctor's permission and come back sometime next week with further questions on MS, if it's okay with you friends. Because doctor's time is also precious. He's still in his hospital clothes, if you can see. He has to go home. Follow. So we'll stop after the next 4 questions. Then we will have another session only on MS next week. If you want next week, with doctor's permission, if he's free, we can always have another session. Okay? Because we must not take too much of doctor's time. He had to go home from Global Hospital.
All right. I've just come home, ma'am. Thank you.
No, come home. Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, next 4 questions, then we'll have another session next week, doctor, if it's okay with you.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Ready.
எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு வேண்டுகோள், இன்னைக்கு ஒரு 4 பேர் மட்டும் क्वेश्चन கேட்டுக்கோங்க. டாக்டர் வந்து நம்ம கூட கம்யூனிகேட் பண்ண ரெடியா இருக்காங்க. on a weekly basis or monthly once. நம்ம வந்து and ma'am நாங்க எல்லாரும் டிசைட் பண்ணி உங்களுக்கு ஒரு குரூப் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிட்டு டாக்டர் will be answering your question. டாக்டர் வந்து உங்களோட क्वेश्चंस्க்கு எல்லாம் ஆன்சர் பண்றதுக்கு ரெடியா இருக்காங்க. அது வந்து பியூர்லி உங்களோட சப்ஜெக்ட் ரிலேட்டடா இருந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும்னு நாங்க எதிர்பார்க்கிறோம். ஸோ இன்னைக்கு ஒரு 4 பேர் கொஸ்டின் கேளுங்க. யாரும் வந்து கொஸ்டின் கேட்க முடியலைன்னு டிப்ரெஸ் ஆக வேண்டாம். இன்னும் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் நம்மளுக்கு வரும். இது வந்து we have just starting, அவ்வளவுதான். ஸோ இப்போ டாக்டர் பார்த்துட்டேங்க, டாக்டர் எவ்வளவு ஃப்ரெண்ட்லியா இருக்கீங்கன்னு பார்த்துட்டேங்க. ஸோ டாக்டர் வந்து டாக்டரோட டைம், டாக்டர் வந்து அண்ணா நகர்ல கிளினிக்கும் ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்காரு. ஸோ அவருக்கு எப்போ டைம் ஃப்ரீயா இருக்கு, எந்த நாள் அவருக்கு கம்ஃபர்டபுளா இருக்கோ அது நம்ம வந்து டிசைட் பண்ணி நம்ம அது ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். தேங்க்யூ. கேட்கலாம், கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கேட்கலாம்.
Questions.
Hello, doctor. Good evening, doctor. Myself, Farzana, doctor.
கேளுங்க மேடம்.
Farzana,
please ma'am.
Sir, actually Farzana, yeah. I got MS from 2010, sir. So but இப்போ என்னன்னா recently before எனக்கு அந்த struggleness தெரியல, but no, from past from 2017 ரொம்ப I'm struggling, and moreover இப்போ recently from past 15 days I feel like every 2-3 days I get like a relapse. So I'm still on meditation, Terrigen, terufluminide 14 mg. I'm on that medicine.
Okay, ma'am.
அதுக்கு என்ன சொல்யூஷன்? அதுக்கு அட்லீஸ்ட் கொஞ்சம் ரிலாக்ஸ் வராத. I know MS cannot be cured, it can only be controlled, but இது வந்து MS relapse வராம இருக்கிறதுக்கு.
Correct. See, I have not known you. உங்களுடைய history தெரியல, so உங்களுடைய history ஃபுல்லா கேட்காம என்னால சொல்ல முடியாது. But I'll tell you, I'll take this opportunity to talk about a concept called pseudo relapse. Certain centerல வந்து there is a relapse clinic. அங்க எங்களுடைய ஒரே ஜாப் வந்து ரிலாப்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு வர்றவங்களுக்கு அது ரிலாப்ஸா இல்ல சூடோ ரிலாப்ஸான்னு பிடிக்கிறது மட்டும் என்னுடைய வேலையா இருந்தது அந்த பர்டிகுலர் கிளினிக். ஸோ சூடோ ரிலாப்ஸ்னா என்னன்னா, உங்களுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் பார்ட் ஆஃப் தி பாடியில ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் வந்துருக்கும், ரிலாப்ஸா பிரசன்ட் ஆயிருக்கும். அந்த பர்டிகுலர் பார்ட்ல திருப்பியும் ஒரு சிம்டம் வரும் அதே மாதிரி. சரியா? அந்த பர்டிகுலர் பார்ட்ல வர்ற அந்த பர்டிகுலர் சிம்டம் வர்ற அந்த சிம்டம் கொஞ்சம் ஷூட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க, ஐ டாக். ஸோ அந்த பர்டிகுலர் பார்ட்ல வர்ற அந்த சிம்டம் திருப்பி ரெக்கர் ஆகும் போது சான்சஸ் ஆஃப் இட் பீயிங் ரிலாப்ஸை விட சூடோ ரிலாப்ஸ்ன்றது ஜாஸ்தி. அதாவது என்ன அர்த்தம்னா, சூடோ ரிலாப்ஸ்னா என்னன்னா, உங்களுடைய சில நரம்புகள், தமிழ்ல பேசுறேன், உங்களுக்கு புரியலன்னா இங்கிலீஷ்ல வேணும்னா கேட்டுக்கலாம். உங்களுடைய சில நரம்புகள் பாதிப்பாயிருச்சு. 100 நரம்புகள் செய்ய வேண்டிய வேலையை இப்போ ஒரு 60 இருந்து 70 நரம்புகள் தான் செய்யுது. அந்த 70 நரம்புகள் 100 நரம்புகள் 30 செய்யாத நரம்புகளுடைய வேலையை சேர்த்து செஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கு. இப்போ ஃபார் ஏதாவது ஒரு ரீசன், ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் உங்களுடைய கண்டிஷன்ல ஆர் ஃபார் எனிபடி, உடம்புல ஒரு இன்ஃபெக்ஷன், ஒரு எக்ஸஸ் டயர்ட்னஸ், ஒரு ஃபெட்டிக், ஈவன் நீங்க தண்ணி சரியா குடிக்கலனா கூட, எதெல்லாம் உங்க உடம்புக்கு ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்குதோ, அந்த எதுவா இருந்தாலும், உடம்புக்கு மட்டும் இல்லாம மனசுக்கு எதுவாவது ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கோ, இந்த எல்லா விஷயத்திலையும் இந்த 70 நரம்புகள் என்ன பண்ணும், நான் எனக்கு செஞ்சிட்டு இருக்க வேலை மட்டும் நான் செஞ்சுட்டு போயிடுவேன், நான் எதுக்கு உன் வேலையை செய்யணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு அந்த 30 நரம்புகளுடைய வேலை, அது டேக் ஓவர் பண்ணிட்ட வேலையை விட்டுடும். அது விட்டுருச்சுன்னா உங்களுக்கு அந்த 30 நரம்புகள் செஞ்சுட்டு இருந்த வேலை அது முதல்ல அடி வாங்கும் போது போச்சு பாத்தீங்களா, அது திருப்பியும் உங்களுக்கு வரும். அந்த சிம்டம்ஸ் திருப்பியும் ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் ஆகும். திருப்பியும் பாத்தீங்கன்னா நீங்க வந்து உங்களுடைய ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ல இருந்து வெளில வந்தோடனே இந்த நரம்புகள்லாம் ஓகே நான் வேலையை திருப்பி செஞ்சுக்கிறேன்னு எடுத்துக்கோம். ஏன்னா இது எப்பவுமே மாற்றான் வீட்டு வேலை மாதிரி இந்த 30 நரம்புகளுடைய வேலையை தான் இவங்க எடுத்து செய்யறாங்களே தவிர இது இவங்க வேலை இல்லை. சோ எப்பப்பெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு ஸ்ட்ரெஸ், அது எதுவா வேணா இருக்கலாம். ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் நான் சொல்ல போறது மன அழுத்தம் மட்டும் இல்ல, உடம்புல ஒரு விஷயம். நான் தான் சொன்னேன், சிம்பிளா நீங்க தண்ணி குடிக்காம இருந்தா கூட டைமுக்கு அடிக்குவேட் அமௌண்ட்ல அது எதுன்னு சொல்லி நம்ம கண்டுபிடிச்சி நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணி அதை சார்ட் அவுட் பண்றது தான் இதுல பெஸ்ட் சொல்யூஷனே தவிர இதை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரிலாப்ஸ் நம்ம டேர்ம் பண்ணணுமான்றதுக்கு நம்ம உட்காந்து பேசணும். இது ரிலாப்ஸ் தான், இது ரிலாப்ஸ் இல்லை அப்படின்னு நம்ம அதை ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணிட்டு, இது சூடோ ரிலாப்ஸ் இருந்தானா அதுக்கான ஃபேக்டர் எதுவோ அந்த ஃபேக்டர் நம்ம குறைக்காம உங்ககிட்ட இருந்து நீங்க டெரிஃப்ளோனமைட் சாப்பிட்டாலும் சரி, நீங்க டைசாபிரி சாப்பிட்டாலும் சரி, இதுக்கும் அதுக்கும் சம்மந்தமே இல்லை. இது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் ரிலாப்ஸ் மாதிரி எனக்கு தெரியல. உங்களுடைய பிரசன்டேஷன் நான் உங்களை பார்த்தது இல்லை. இது வந்து மை வே ஆஃப் ஆன்சரிங் யூ. ஐ மைட் பி கம்ப்ளீட்லி ராங் பிகாஸ் ஐ ஹவ் நாட் சீன் யூ. பட் இப்படி 3 டேஸ்க்கு ஒன்ஸ் ஒரு ரிலாப்ஸ் வர முடியாது. நாட் ஹியூமன்லி பாசிபிள் டு ஹேவ் அ 3 day ஒன். அந்த நேரத்துக்கு 3 day ஒன்ஸ் ஒரு ரிலாப்ஸ் வந்ததுன்னா நீங்க இந்நேரத்துக்கு பெட் பவுண்டை தவிர வேற எந்த ஸ்டேட்லயும் இருக்க முடியாது. பெட்டை தவிர நீங்க வெளியே எந்திரிச்சிக்க முடியாது 3 day ஒன்ஸ் ரிலாப்ஸ் வந்துச்சுன்னா. ஸோ தட் இஸ் இட்.
3 days அப்படி இல்ல சார், வீக்லி ஒன்ஸ் அப்படி. ஏன்னா certain times எனக்கு வந்து I'm facing only one problem in walking. அந்த ரிலாக்ஸ் இருந்துச்சுன்னா once I sit down, because generally I sit down, I don't use most of the chairs or sofas to sit. I generally sit down only. But சில டைம்ல வந்துட்டு I use myself to sit down and get up like an exercise. But certain time what happen, I'm not able to get up without a support. Someone should hold me, lift me.
So this is classical. This is classical of a pseudo relapse, madam. That's your neuron system getting exposed. அப்பப்ப இங்க பாருங்க, இந்த இடத்துல வந்து செக்யூரிட்டி சரியில்லை, இங்க வந்து ஒரு 3 ஆளுக்கு வேலை இருந்திருக்கணும், அவங்க போயிட்டாங்க. This is so first thing I'm assuring you that this is not relapse, right? I can assure you that this is not relapse. You need not worry. We need to find out what makes that symptom come and address that, not the MS related issue. Take it from me, this is not a relapse, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Next session, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next question, please.
Ma'am, I'm Sadish.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Sir, Pir Mohammed.
Yes, sir. Please.
சார் நீங்க வந்து சார் உங்களுதே வந்து என்கிட்ட நிறைய இதை நான் கேட்கணுன்றேன் சார். ஆனா நீங்க சொன்னது அவ்வளவு சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு. எதுவுமே கேட்கல, நான் ரொம்ப லைக் பண்றேன் சார். அதான் சார் பேசுறேன்.
நன்றிங்கய்யா, நன்றி.
ஓகே சார்.
ஏதாவது கேள்விகள் இருக்கா?
கேள்வி எதுவும் இல்ல சார். நீங்க வந்து நான் கேட்கறதெல்லாம் கேட்டாங்க.
சரிங்க.
எதுவுமே இல்ல, வரும் சார். வந்த
சரிங்கய்யா, நன்றி, நன்றிங்கய்யா, ரொம்ப நன்றி.
Sadish, Dr. Sadish.
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
Sir, 2015 I diagnosed MS.
Yes sir. Okay.
Okay. But yeah ma'am. You spoke something.
Yeah, it's okay sir. Now please proceed sir. Proceed.
So now I can take injection, COVID injection.
You should. You should sir.
Yeah, but only problem mine is tickling when I tickling problem only. That's all.
That is not every time, no sir. It's happening on and off, right?
On and off. But 2015 only I got. Not still now there is no. I am taking Avanax injection.
That's fine, sir. You're perfectly good. You're doing in the very right sense. You're spiritedly positive. You have nothing problematic here. You should take the COVID vaccine. That tickling issue is what I was talking about in the previous speaker's thing. These are called something called as pseudo relapses. When your few neurons you might have lost to the MS disease, those neurons are getting exposed when you have certain issues, like one bad day where your mood is off, where one bad day when you have done an excessive exercise or you didn't take good water, when the heat humidity is high. These are times when these symptoms get exposed, and it only happens repeatedly in the same zone. So this doesn't mean that your MS is progressing. This doesn't mean that there is a relapse and you are perfectly fine.
Yes, sir. I think it's relapse. 2015 I got. Then after 2015 again 2017 I think. Yeah, that time again I faced same problem.
Right.
Then still no, there is no problem.
Very good, sir. Your disease is, I think, you are one of the favorable MS patients right now I've spoken to. You have a very good, control on the disease with your disease modification therapy. Whomever the neurologist has done a very good job on treating you. I appreciate. I'll motivate you, and you are inspiring for everybody else.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay,
thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Stop the question sessions because it's 10 minutes to 7, because everybody's time is so precious.
Yes.
So all of you be assured that we will have more sessions with doctor. As Dr. Ravi Samuel is having brain lab sessions, we have Dr. Venkatraman on our panel. So on what time basis it will work out, we will discuss with doctor and the committee members. We will together take a decision as how we can go together further. So coming to the conclusion, as a vote of thanks, I should first thank Anne Gonsalves for taking this opportunity to introduce Dr. Ravi Samuel and Dr. Venkatraman, and of course the caregiver Arya Sundari for taking part in this program. All the speakers emphasized on physical activity. If you have seen, caregivers also should find time to have some moments of their life so that they feel that they are also doing things happily. As Dr. Ravi Samuel said, caregiving is a beautiful activity. It's a rewarding activity. You are a person who is doing the caregiving means you are chosen for that activity to feel proud of it at the end of the day. So do that caregiving activities with such an happiness. Don't feel bad about that. And Mrs. Arya Sundari has given us very good input as how she is working together with her husband to come out of the situation. And we can take the inputs from her as doing exercises together, eating a good meal every day, planning the activities for the day in advance, so that they keep themselves busy, not thinking of MS, but thinking of how to move about from the MS. Finally, Dr. Venkatraman has spent his valuable time with us. He has done a very good presentation. I think some of you want the presentation to be seen again and again. Yes, of course, Kirtana is there. I should thank Doctor for accepting our invitation, and even in this COVID time, spending 2 hours with us, listening to us, each of us patiently, and spending the time. Dr. Venkatraman, as I have interacted with him, you can be assured that he will be answering your questions. He will take time from himself to answer whatever is required. He will see that the patient is cared for. As he said, he will do. I mean, if the patient is not able to go to him, the doctor will come to the patient's house. I have experienced this. And he has started his own clinic in Anna Nagar. So the address, everything is there in the invitation only. Whatever today's program, we have his address also, his clinic also. We wish Dr. Ravi Samuel, Dr. Venkatraman, and of course Anne and Kirtana and all the team very best in all our endeavors together. I should thank Kirtana for her untiring service to arrange this program, and also our MSP Kalaivani. She is also doing a wonderful work in the office supporting us. Thank you everyone for patiently listening to this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chitra. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, ma'am. Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, ஒரு வாரத்துக்கு